Hey guys, back out here today, finish this up. You can see I've got the gap pretty nice down through here. As I come down toward the bottom, I've got it all pushed in. This gap got quite a bit bigger as I got toward the bottom, and so I went ahead and put the rod in there like I've done in the past. Just use that little rod to fill that in. Just got to keep on going down and moving stuff out. Like you can see, this is just a little bit in, so either this needs to go in or that needs to come out, but it needs to be equal. I'll probably pop this in. When I use my spoon to put in here and hit that direction, it bends this out, so that needs to go back in just a bit. But no biggie. Yeah, just finishing this up, so there you go. Just a little bit of progress. I should get this done this afternoon. Pretty easy. Probably within the next hour or so, I would guess. So anyways, I start buttoning it up and getting it all cleaned up. I'll bring you back and let you see it when it's done. Hey guys, I was buttoning this up and I got to thinking something that might be helpful. When you're using this rod and you say you put it in this, you put it in your gap and you hold it in there like that and you bridge it to keep it from blowing out, because they tend to want to get, you know, if you don't. So you hold this in there. You can bend it if you want, just to, you know, hold it easier or whatever. But when you go, my point is, when you strike up on this with your rod, don't hit the rod, because it'll knock it in. Especially if you're not holding it. Say you take a magnet and hold that little rod into place. As soon as you strike up on that, it's going to blow it inside. So what you need to do is to go to just the left or the right of it and pull your puddle to the right or the left, either whichever way you want to go. But hit the metal first and then go across it, and it'll melt it in and it'll keep it there. Otherwise, like I said, you hit it directly, boom, it's going to go in. So just a little, you know, a little tidbit that might help someone out, especially the new guys who are getting ready to do this and haven't done it yet. And I know I've learned the hard way. I stuck a couple magnets in there and hit that sucker head on and just popped it and went inside, and I was like, well, that didn't work. So so I was sitting here doing this, I thought I'd give you a little heads up on that. Just go from left to right when you're running your beads, and you'll see a lot of my beads are longer because I pull them across like I just said. So and that's just to get them tacked in, and then I'll come back and start filling like that. That's where I started filling and actually doing the penetration to get them all filled in. So you can see the little tacks here just stacked. I usually shoot about 3 to 4 tacks on top of each other. Then I'll move down to another area like this, 3 to 4 tacks, then move down 3 to 4 tacks, and let all this cool while I'm down here. Then come back up, start zapping these. By the time I get done with that, it'll be cool down here. Vice versa, you can use air to cool it if you want. You know, some people like to, some people don't. I know I've seen several things either way. It makes sense both ways. Anytime you quench metal or cool it too fast, it's going to shrink, and when it shrinks, it's going to draw it in, so you're going to have to use more filler in that area. If you let it cool naturally, it probably won't shrink as much. But then on the other hand, you've got, you know, just putting heat on it, and you can see the heat ring here. Just putting that heat on, it's going to cause it to shrink some. And you can't, one thing you can do, if you've got a flat panel and you can get to the back side and you want that panel to be flat, instead of, because welding tends to shrink this in, there'll be almost like a little V area here where the heat hit it, and you use filler to fill that in. But if you're trying to get it, you want to get it perfect and you can get to the bottom side, get you a hammer dolly, grind all this flat, all the bumps off on both sides, then take you a hammer and dolly and do hammer on dolly on the back side, and it'll stretch that metal back up to where it levels it off. So that's another little tip that you can use. Now, a lot of these panels you can't get to the back side of it, so you don't have that option. But like I'm saying, if you got just a piece of, I've got scrap over here that if I can find it. Here I go on the ADD tangent again. Let's say this metal here. All right, it's a perfect example. This piece of sheet metal, I actually welded this with a torch. I was trying to learn how to torch weld, and you can see the little burn-in areas, but I could get to the back side. Now when I initially started with welding that panel started V'ing in real bad. Well, then I took my hammer and dolly, and you can see on this side even probably a little better. I took my hammer and dolly and went along that where it started V'ing out and hammered it to where it stretched it back up. So that's one thing you can do, especially if you're making patches or if you're doing something like this that you can get to the inside and outside. It works perfect. But yeah, that's not bad for probably 5 or 6 times of trying to learn how to weld with a torch. Don't know why, I just thought, why not? I don't like to limit myself to only one thing if I can help it. I like to learn how to do, I want to learn how to do all of it. I can do interior work. I put a brand new interior in my daughter's Fox Body Mustang that she had. It was a Mach 1 interior. She had it was a 90 Mustang, and they sell, and if you got a 90 Mustang, I highly suggest, but they sell basically the covers. I bought all new covers, all new foam and everything for those seats. Bought me some hog ring pliers and some hog rings, stripped them off, never done it before, figured out how little rods went in to tuck everything down, and it's not hard, at least for that. Now, I mean, if you're making a custom interior and you got to have a sewing machine, you have to do all that's a whole different animal. But if you're just recovering muscle car seats or whatever, they make some fantastic stuff out there now, and you don't need to pay people to do that. It's not hard, I'm telling you. I mean, just take pictures of it when you're taking it apart and put it back together the same way you took it apart. I mean, it's not a hard deal. But anyway, it turned out fantastic. That was one of her most favorite parts of that car, because the car was red, and if you know what the Mach 1 Mustang interior looks like, it's kind of a tuck and roll type deal. And right at the top of the headrest, it has different colors depending on whatever color your interior car, whatever you want. It has a different color line, and hers was red. And I mean, it was absolutely beautiful. And they made it to where on those 90 Mustangs, they got the little bolsters down by your knees that you can adjust in and out. They made the little deal that fit that perfect. I mean, it was absolutely amazing. Yeah, I'm sure you could Google that. Mach 1 for a 90 model Mustang, but if anybody's got that car, man, that's an awesome interior. So anyway, yeah, I got sidetracked, but anyway, hopefully maybe that'll help somebody else too, that's considering Mustang, because I could have put the factory Mustang interior, because they make that too, but that Mach 1 interior looks so nice. So all right, I want to keep sewing this up. Thought I'd give you that little tip. So I got a little welding to go, so I'll holler at you guys in a little bit. See you. There it is. You can see the gap looks pretty good. A little bit of undercut in the weld there. Could I fill that in? Yes. Am I going to? No. I'm going to have filler on that anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to put all metal on this, and so it'll fill that in. Like I said, if you just want to be ridiculous and sit and fill that in, you can, but I'm not going to. I am going to, however, take my Sharpie, blacken this out, go ahead and start metal filing this down, get it as smooth as possible, and then whatever else is left, just like this little stuff here, little undercut areas, it'll be filled with some filler. You can see here, maybe there's literally almost no gap. It welded pretty nice. Now right down here, set you down for a second. All right. Right down there. There's less than, I mean, it's like I don't even know what half a 16th is, but 32nd, I guess. I mean, it's not even, you can barely even see anything. So, I mean, literally, a little bit of metal file work there, and a tight coat of all metal or fiberglass or whatever you want to fill it with. I put a light behind it to see if I can see any pinholes. I haven't found any pinholes. But that's it for now. I'm gonna go ahead and metal file that out. If you guys want to see that after I'm done, after I get it completely done, I'll bring it back and let you see it. All right, you can see as I go, my low spots where I put the Sharpie in there. There you go. See my little low spots. I've already started knocking that down with my file. I haven't gone down to the bottom yet, but yeah, you can definitely see the lows. It's getting the highs here, so I'll just keep working that down. I'll show you what I got going on here. Can't even see if you can see that or not. Let's see. Getting pretty nice. You can still see the imperfections there, but I don't want to take too much metal off that. Just trying to get my highs knocked down there. Pretty nice. Some of these lows here, this is going to be filled in with filler. I'm not going to take that all the way down to that because I don't want to take too much metal off of it. Yeah, this feels a little low right there. And if you're working on like an older car that has heavier gauge sheet metal, some of the old 30s and earlier than that, thicker sheet metal, you can metal file these more and get away with it because you got thicker sheet metal. This is only 20 gauge, so you don't want to get carried away because all you're doing is making it thinner and thinner. The deeper you go, now when you knock your high spots off and get it level, that's what you're after. If you keep going and trying to get all these little imperfections out, you're going to end up making the metal thin. So just be careful. But anyway, that's it. I don't know how many guys have used these metal files. You can use them like this. You kind of want to go just like you would. You can see the way the teeth are, kind of upside down U shape. You don't want to go straight up and down really. You kind of want to go at an angle, just like you take a piece of sandpaper. But not as extreme. It's more of a, okay, you're not doing this number cross hatching, but you kind of are. It's just a, I don't know, a bit taller X, I guess. So, but then I'm done with this. I'll go ahead and knock this down real good with like probably 50 grit, and I'll go back over that with 80 grit, and this will blend in so nice and smooth, it'll just disappear. So I'm gonna keep working this, and I'll bring you back. All right, guys, there it is in 80 grit. And I've got that metal filed so close that literally the only thing that the filler is going to fill is just these little tiny imperfections. And like I said, the little undercut areas, that's all that's really gonna fill. The rest of this is metal. So, and like I said, if you want to go crazy and fill in every little imperfection and just metal file it, you can. I mean, that's fantastic, but it's going to take you a long time to do it. And I'm sure there's guys out there, these professional builders, that metal file whole cars and make them all perfect with just metal. That's got to take thousands of hours to do that. But here you go. Get this in here where you can see it. And this is that 3/16 shim. Again, I'm doing this left-handed, so basically that's it. Once I get prime, paint, however many coats of primer, the whole deal, paint, clear, that'll be even smaller. But you don't want it too tight, because then you have to start having problems, especially up here. You get up to the front, that's where you're going to have problems, because when you open your door, this door is really hard to open one-handed. Hold on a second. So yeah, this is where you got to be careful right here. This is where that opens. See how close that is? When you get that too tight, I mean, it's real close right now as it's going in there. So if you get that too tight, which this gap is already, grab my little hole again, see how much I need to close this up. Literally, that's pretty close. I mean, that may be almost right where it needs to be, because like I said, once you get primer and all that, now as you come up here a little bit, I'm going to need to do a little work. And then right here, it's almost a little too tight, so I have to do a little work there. But these gaps actually turned out really well. I was real happy with them. I spent a lot of time, guys, setting these panels. So just so you know, and cutting inside here, making sure, making this come back as far as it would go. Trying to keep these gaps as close as possible. I mean, it was a lot of work. I had these fenders on and off, and they had me scratching my head at several points. And if you guys remember some of the videos, but that right there is 3/16 already. So that extra work is going to keep me from having to run rod all the way down this thing. I only have to probably run it from here up to close that gap up like it needs to be. So really not too bad. I think the other side's the same way. No, it's not. The other side's way worse. You can see that. Now up here, it's close, but then it walks out. It seems like I looked at this, and the way this is shaped, it goes, you can see the door's nice. The door's the way it's supposed to be. Well, this kind of comes out, and it's just aftermarket parts. I mean, you guys have all been through this. So. But you see how it's wide, and then it comes in tight, and it has nothing to do with the original factory door. It's all the stamping of that. So, but that's as far back as I could get that. And of course, you've seen this gap here. And I've already all metaled this. Put me a little tight wipe all metal in there. So now I'll epoxy that, and then I'll high build, and then I'll block her down. and then high build and block her down, high build and block her down, however many times it takes to get it straight. So, and you can see here, you put this up against the door. I mean, that transition is really, really nice. You don't have something that's just catching like that, you know what I mean? It's just nice and slides across there. That's what you want. Same up here, sitting real nice. You can see it's not sticking up here. This is not way down, or I mean, just these little details like this is going to make you really proud of your car. It's going to stand out compared to the other ones because you took the time to do the little stuff. So, all right, guys, that's going to be it for me today. It's running on almost 5 o'clock, 4:40, 4:35. But yeah, there you go. One more look. And you guys are probably tired of looking at gaps by now. But I know this is helping somebody out there. I know Matthew for sure. He's always telling me how much it's helping him. So, but yeah, pretty much all done with the gaps here except for on the front now. So I literally got to get these 2 gaps here done. And I'm not sure about this, but then my hood, we haven't even discussed that really. He's talking about getting a cow hood, and I really like those. They just look way better than a flat hood in my opinion, but that's just my opinion. And I like the SS hoods too. A lot of guys don't, but I like those as well. But this looks like it's going to fit pretty good. There's not a big gap in here. So yeah, just getting these front gaps done. I don't think I'll have too many issues in here. Like I said, that's loose, so it just needs to be slid in. But we're getting there, guys. We're sure getting there. So pretty happy with it. Pretty proud of the work that I've done to it so far. So I appreciate you guys watching, subscribing. I appreciate all my new subscribers. You guys have any questions, holler at me. As you can see, I'm an open book. I'm not trying to hide anything from anyone. I tell it like it is. I try not to half-ass anything. And, you know, you can see it here. So if you got any questions or anything, just let me know. I'll try to answer as best I can. I'm not a end-all, know-all, believe me. I'm still learning every day. So, but yeah, I appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.